All right, we're back here on the Elias Macco Show, and sometimes our guests come via text messages from our listeners. Our next guest sent us a text last week at 514-800. And why did they send us a message? Well, they were outraged at a story we told you about over the debacle on Notre-Dame Street East. Now, have you ever made a mistake at your job? I mean, it happens, right? People make mistakes. City of Montreal saying a, quote, human mistake. They're all human mistakes, aren't they? A human mistake means Notre-Dame Street East won't fully reopen to drivers for another few weeks or even months. Now, that human mistake was ordering the wrong size part because of confusion between the metric system and the imperial system. It's our pleasure to welcome Vince Monti-Cholo onto the program. He's a mechanical engineering consultant and a former partner of a metal manufacturing and fabrication shop. Hi, Vince.
Hi, Elias.
So I'm reading the story last week. We're talking about it, big snafus and screw-ups that you've seen in and around the city of Montreal, and you're enraged. So
yes.
Tell our listeners why.
Basically, I have a hard time understanding why a simple, solution. I've worked in both systems, both, metric units and imperial units.
Yeah.
And it comes down to one factor.
Yeah.
Either millimeters, you use the factor of 25.4, honestly,
you brought in the tape measure.
I take a tape measure and, you can just go down and measure, everything is there. I have a hard time understanding that. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Based on my experience in my professional career, honestly, there's always a solution.
Uh-huh.
And I have a hard time believing that it takes weeks and weeks.
So a couple of things, right? Because metric versus imperial, that little thing has impacted the best of them. Like NASA has made that very mistake, right? We've seen, I think it was Apollo 13. One of the things that happened was metric imperial, or one of those missions, right? So that could happen to anyone. I guess the question I have is, okay, now that it's happened, why does it take months and weeks? And what of metal manufacturing, what's your best guess here on the delays and the waits?
Honestly, based on my experience, you have to have a certain relationship with your vendors, okay? And we have lots of qualified suppliers in Quebec and in Canada.
Yeah.
I've worked on projects where I used to work for a big firm before, and there was a mistake. The project usually takes 4 months to do.
Yeah. It
took us 2 days in engineering to redo it, and a weekend to manufacture a part that was 30 feet long.
Yeah.
There's a will, there's a way.
Okay.
So I'm saying, give me the drawings, give me the specs, I'm willing to look at it and come up with solutions.
Okay, so there's one thing just to be enraged and send us a text message. The reason you're on this program is like you have a call to the city saying, let me make this piece of metal for you. Is that what you're saying?
Let me look at it and I'll find you the solution for it in a quick response.
Now, so why do you think they have to go to a company in the U.S.? Are there any things that they don't that we don't make here in Canada? Like for this piece, I think it's not a Canadian company, right?
That's what I don't understand, because they say it's made out of cast iron.
Yeah.
Cast iron, we have lots of foundries in Canada, in Quebec as well. And I've, being a partner at a former machine shop, we made parts, not small parts. We made parts, we were in pulp and paper, hydroelectricity. We're talking big parts. I had a machine shop of 35,000 square feet. Parts were up to like 10 tons we're building. So, and as well, in my past history, we used to take castings of 1920 drawings and used to transform them into modern metal parts that are fabricated, welded and everything. And the other thing I don't understand is, this is supposed to be a maintenance store or something.
Yeah.
Don't they standardize? Is there not, like over the city, there should be a standard design? Yeah. And maybe you should keep one in inventory.
That would require some foresight, obviously.
Yeah.
We are with Vince Monti-Cholo. He's a mechanical engineering consultant, and he's got a message for the city of Montreal. I will help you fix the mess on Notre-Dame East. So, Vince, take me through that, okay? If the city of Montreal were to listen to you and say, here's the piece of metal we need, okay?
Yes.
Is there any time frame that would go into months for you to get any type? Can you think of any type of piece of metal, grate, a door, plate, you name it, that you couldn't get done in a month?
I can do it.
You can do it.
Yes, I can contact all my contacts in the industry, and I will discuss it with them, and we'll find a solution. I've been able in the past, and I still want to help the cities of Montreal and the people of Montreal find viable solutions. Honestly,
but listen. Here's the thing, right? City of Montreal, they have people that do this. They're good people, right? They must be going through the same things that you're going through, right?
But why can't I have a shot at it? Honestly.
Yeah.
It's like you say, why did they go to the US? How big, I'd like to see the specs, the RFQ, also, the request for quote. How was it written? I have, the responsibilities on both sides, the supplier and the client, because this thing about the metric and the units, somebody had to catch it, because you have, in business or in engineering, you have checklists. Yeah. You have redundancies to verify.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering what the conversion error was, because, like yards and meters, they're pretty close, right? Yes. If it's not the yards and meters, if it's like centimeters and inches, it would be so far off, like the piece would just be so the wrong size. All right, so Vince, here's what we're going to do here to wrap up here. Okay. We have a segment every Thursday called the City Hall, where we have someone from the city. Okay? So why don't you, in 30 seconds here, give me your pitch that we can play for the city of Montreal. Give us your pitch on why they should come to you for this metal plate.
Honestly speaking, City of Montreal, Madame Plante, give me your specifications when you went out to the so-called suppliers. Give me the drawings. Give me the qualifications. I'll even go on site and measure it with my tape measure and come up with a solution. And I'm not going to charge you for it. I'm just going to make Montrealers happy.
You won't charge?
No, I won't charge. Pro bono.
What if it's could it be like a $50,000 plate? I don't know how these work. Could it be?
No, I won't supply the plate. Okay. I'm going to make the design and find the solutions. Okay, because I'm no longer, if I was still an owner of the company,
yes,
I would have done it.
Okay, you'll do the legwork. You won't pay for the material.
No.
Labor, not material cost. Okay, I was like, wow, Vince, you're such a great guy. Vince, thanks for coming. Thanks for reaching out, by the way.
Yes,
thanks for sending that text.
And thank you, CJD and Elias. You do a great job always.
Thank you so much, Vince. That's really, really kind of you. And a lovely family, by the way. Your wife's here. Your 2 kids are here. Absolutely lovely to see everybody. Vince Monti-Cholo is a mechanical engineering consultant and a former partner of a metal manufacturing and fabrication shop.